Hello everybody and welcome back to F1 23 with me, Dan, and the Slothz team after a 4-month break, result of a burnout, which I explained in a community post, so I won't go into in any details here, but coming back to this, all of these races that you'll see over the next couple of weeks were recorded way back in, I think, August, September time. So it was a bit interesting coming in and trying to figure out what the hell was going on. But we're picking up the season from Singapore. And there's some driver pace there for Jack Doohan as we speed on towards the season. Hopefully I can make a start on season 3, I suppose it will be. I've already made some adjustments to the car's livery. Just added a couple of sponsors. And I've actually got plans to start doing some races this week. The series will be a bit later than normal, just because of the new way that I'll be doing these videos, rather than cramming everything in to a single week to try and get the following week's uploads done. I'll be reining things back a bit and trying to complete all the videos first, so then I can actually have a chance to have a little bit of a break in between recording sessions. So that's kind of the situation going forward. Oh, and of course my shorts and my clips will be coming out soonish. I've just got to find some time that I can commit to catching up with those, because those will be a weekly thing I've got to contend with. But there's the stats so far. We're the 5th best car. Let's see how we can do. So then it's over to the Singapore Grand Prix for our first Grand Prix in quite some time. And actually looking down at the background there, I can see a green car right at the back of the grid. So hopefully that's not us. I don't remember doing too well on this race. And speaking of doing too well, I've actually got to try and do one of these later on. So wish me luck with that. Anyway, don't forget to like this video, hit that subscribe button, and turn on that notification bell as well if you would like to see me complete this season and then inevitably fail as I try to come back after a 4-month break with no assists on the game. Anyway, onto the starting grid for the Singapore Grand Prix. We've got the 2 Ferraris of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz on the pole position. They'll be leading the way today here in Singapore. Behind them and further down the order, we have Lewis Hamilton and George Russell, Alex Albon and Sergio Perez, Max Verstappen and Jack Doohan, and Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. Pierre Gasly, Valtteri Bottas, Lance Stroll, Nico Hülkenberg, Zhou Guanyu, Esteban Ocon, Kevin Magnussen, Yuki Tsunoda. There we are in 19th. Logan Sargent, Nick de Vries and Théo Pourchaire. So not exactly the greatest qualifying session in the world, but maybe we can try to recover a little bit during the race. There's probably a good chance of a safety car here given the history around this circuit, and if it rains at all then there might be an option to come in and try and jump a few people in the pit lane at the same time. We can only hope. But for now then, let's get back into Formula 1 on the Radiant Slothz channel. Well, then we got quite a lot of ground to make up. It looks like Jack Doohan's going to have to do most of the heavy lifting for this Grand Prix. Although, having said that, it looks as though he's had an absolutely dogshit start there across the line. We're going up alongside all of the field, though, I think just about within the track limits. There's carbon fibre pieces going everywhere. It looks as though one of the McLarens is running the hard tyre, though. That's Norris up ahead and is causing a bit of a traffic jam for Albon and Piastri as he forces his teammate towards the barrier. Doohan having an absolute horrible start, drops to 12th. I think he started 6th and is now actually behind us and Stroll as we nearly run into the back of Norris, who's having an awful time here. Perhaps it was his front wing that was damaged, although there is actually a piece missing from Alex Albon there as we sneak up the inside. Yellow flags waving, but we are through. Watching on board at the restart, we are far superior to all of these cars around us, and even the Alfa Romeo with the soft tyre, we are much faster. And there is confirmation that yes, I was in fact within the track limits, even though it's a little bit of a grey area out there. And then a lovely move around the outside of the Aston Martin. I can't actually remember who's driving. Stroll, isn't it? And, oh, that's Albon losing his end plate there. Interesting that that Norris wasn't actually going as slow as he was because of his tyre. And we've got a yellow flag again. Oh, there's been a pile-up in turn 1. We've got a red flag. And it's Lando Norris. 5-second penalty for the McLaren driver. What has gone on there? Unbelievable. Let's watch. This is Doohan following, I guess that's Albon again. No, Stroll, I suppose. And then Norris. And round goes Norris and Doohan, blind, straight into him. And that's Doohan out of the race. This is on board with Gasly or Ocon. And yeah, Norris doing the shuffle there. So now we're started in 8th in the top 10. Lewis Hamilton made some ground up at the front. Charles Leclerc going backwards, but what's new there? Down into turn 1 we go, up the inside of Sergio Perez, and a bit of contact there made with our arch nemesis as we go through the twisty turn 1. And that's up position once again. I don't know actually if it was Bottas or Verstappen that we managed to get past, but it looks like there's a change for second place going on as Hamilton's under some pressure here from his teammate and Charles Leclerc looking to get revenge. Leclerc to the outside. It's causing a little bit of a traffic jam. Down the inside we go of Perez sliding around there. We're going to try and get the traction out of that really tight 90-degree corner. And there we go, sweeping around the outside and up into 6th. Probably our best position that we've ever held here at Singapore. I don't particularly like this circuit very much, even when I do have the assist on. Doing it without, even worse, to be quite honest. Although with the handling model of this game, it is slightly more tolerable than it has been in the past. As we come down the DRS straight now, Piastri up ahead. Hamilton has held on to that P2, and Carlos Sainz, having an amazing time at the front of the field, has absolutely stormed into the lead. As we follow Piastri through the tight sector 3, we're going to cut away onto lap 8. Piastri dropping back slightly from the competition up ahead, perhaps slightly struggling with the tyres here. These mediums fitted after the restart will be interesting to see if anyone comes in again, unless it rains. Actually, I imagine the AI will try to get to the end of the race, but up into P5 we will go as we get the DRS on Piastri. Down the first of the DRS straights, running slightly wide there, but we were already past him, so who really cares? Up ahead then, George Russell and Charles Leclerc. And interestingly, on lap 9, so it's only been a lap since we last checked in on things, and it's absolutely heaving it down out there. We're sliding all over the place. Piastri now about to take back his P5, and there he goes down the inside here as we try to navigate this horrible section in the dry, which is pretty bad, and now in the wet even worse with dry compound tyres on. I don't know if anyone else has come into the pit lane. Looks as though some idiots have decided to stay out there, including Max Verstappen, who has had a track record during this season of being a moron and getting crashed into. So we'll see if he actually makes it back to the pit lane for some intermediate tyres. Meanwhile, we will pile in and hopefully not get held up too much here by all of the other teams who have come in. Of course, we don't have to worry about Doohan. I'm pretty sure we just took our mechanic's arm off there as we move forward before he even had the tyre on. But we managed to get out. We're in P8, which I guess is net P5. So we did jump Piastri in the pits. We're waiting on Norris, Verstappen and Joe to come back in. I'm surprised actually Norris was still in the race. I thought it would have retired him. But we rejoin on lap 10. Just as slidey as it was before. Just, oh, massive moment there as we go into the hairpin. And that is allowing Sergio Perez to slip up the inside as we slide out of the corner. Just about hung on there to that P8. As I was about to say something about the frame rate dropping now that we've got a load of rain pixels on the screen. But lap 10, moving on to lap 11, we are seeing Verstappen, Joe and Norris have come in to the pit lane, and I imagine it's going to drop them back incredibly far down the order, having done so many laps on a wet track with dry tyres, and more sliding going on there as well from us. There are Russell and Leclerc, not too far up ahead, but definitely far enough away that they're going to be a problem. As we ride on board with Verstappen, let's see how he gets on here, chasing down Nick de Vries, the worst Formula 1 driver since Nikita Mazepin, and someone who I had personally completely forgotten about. And that, as we say that, Max Verstappen spinning around there allows Théo Pourchaire to jump 2 positions up into 17th, and Kevin Magnussen probably not very happy with that, as Verstappen took an incredibly long time to get out of the way. And it remains to be seen if he's actually going to continue. I'm assuming he is, based on his car being ahead of Perez. But the safety car has come out. It's now coming in at the end of this lap, and we've got a great opportunity here to try and move further up into the top 5, try and beat one of the Mercedes or the Ferraris. But straight line speed, not great here as we lock up into turn 1. Can we get past Russell? We do, but it's cost us some time, and Russell is still there around the outside. We've got Carlos Sainz from the lead, has spun out at turn 2/3. The safety car has returned to the field after just 2 corners. Well, we're up into P3. I don't think I've ever been on the podium here, apart from on F1 2009 on the Nintendo Wii. That's how long ago that's been. And, yeah, there we go. Carlos getting a little bit out of position there. And, oh, Oscar Piastri into the McLaren, into the Ferrari, I mean to say. What an odd race this has been so far. He nearly took out Max Verstappen and Sergio Perez. This was Piastri watching our battle with Russell. Clearly a bit too keen to watch. And just plows straight into Carlos Sainz. And unsurprisingly, is at the back. And I have a feeling, actually, that maybe Verstappen is the last runner in this race at the moment. It's really hard to tell with the lack of an actual working timing board. I'm going to make sure that that's definitely there in Season 3 when I record these. Just remember, if you need it, at least when I last checked, you have to take a photo in photo mode, come out of the replay photo mode, and then you'll have all the split times there, because of course that's how you do it, Codemasters and EA. Anyway, as we carry on, we've only got 4 laps to go. Hamilton leads the race. He's doing well in the championship so far. We'll have a look at the points a bit later on. Charles Leclerc absolutely nowhere near anyway. But I think he's quite close in terms of competition with us. So we do need to get past him if we can. Or at least try and make up for this result later on. Anyway, let's watch Russell here. This is 2.5 laps to go. He's got Bottas behind him, actually. He's having a great race. And in fact, the top 10 looking quite interesting, with Verstappen and Perez going on a sightseeing tour at the back of the field. And then both McLarens going out, Doohan going out, and Sainz. It's made up for an interesting top 10 as Russell attempted to go past there and was blocked by our seemingly chaotic attempt to stay in a straight line. You can see the tyres are not happy. We have been on them for a good 10 laps now. And this is a particularly high tyre wear circuit, so it's not the best for trying to go on a long stint, and we're certainly finding that out now. This was Russell seeing his moment there as we ran wide into what used to be the S of Singapore. And as we stay on the circuit just about and try and slide around, we've managed to get past, well, stay ahead. And Russell still has another 2 attempts to get past us, 2 laps to try. This was another replay on the same lap of him. Oh, big lockup for Russell, pulling a Radiant Slothz style overtake of just sliding sideways into the car ahead to try and bump them out of the way. It didn't work. And in fact, it's actually cost him, as now Valtteri Bottas moves up into P4. And we're on to the final lap. Valtteri Bottas definitely not going to be as much of a threat as George Russell as we slip and slide our way through. It looks as though Bottas is actually causing a small train of his own back there as we start to pull away. And I think the track may even be drying up as the rain has stopped. Oh no, there it is. The rain has started again. Never mind that. So we'll just carry on anyway. So from the scoreboard here, we've got two teams in the top 10 with both cars. That is currently Mercedes with Hamilton, big slide there, and Russell, who got aggressive earlier on. And then also the two Alpines currently still in the top 10. Albon not quite recovered from that very damaging start that he had. Losing that end plate has cost him significantly. But not as much as the guys at the bottom. Oh, it looks as though Kevin Magnussen just dropped a few places. So I think Piastri and Sainz are still in this race unless Magnussen just retired. Allowed them through. But not great down at the bottom of the field. And we're getting knocked out. That isn't good for the constructors. Next year, I suppose, though, we will have an opportunity to try and win that with potentially a new teammate. We'll find out when I do it later on. But here we go. Through final sector now. Sector 3. Round the twisty section under the highway. And then back round towards the pit lane as we slide like buggery around the track, nearly into the DHL barriers. And around the final corner, we will cross the line on the podium in Singapore. We have a massive accident there at the end. No driver of the day for some reason. Apparently everyone performed awfully at this race. And there is Lewis Hamilton. Another race win for him. Looks like it's going to be a Mercedes Drivers' Champion and probably Constructors' Champions as well. After a few years off of the top of the table. But there we go. Trophies getting dished out, and at least we get to join them up there for the champagne, which is more than we usually get to do here in Singapore. And probably more than we'll ever do ever again, because I'll never add this circuit ever unless someone pays me to do it, because it's absolutely horrendous. But with that out of the way, it's time for the final result. And here are the final results. No fastest lap, actually, from the top 14 runners, but Lewis Hamilton, Charles Leclerc, and, of course, me on the podium. Then we had Valtteri Bottas, George Russell, Lance Stroll, Yuki Tsunoda, Pierre Gasly, Nico Hülkenberg, and Esteban Ocon. And over to the Drivers' Championship, Lewis Hamilton now extends his lead by 15 points over his teammate George Russell. They're followed by Charles Leclerc, Sergio Perez, Carlos Sainz, Radiant Slothz, Alex Albon, Max Verstappen, Pierre Gasly, and Lance Stroll make up the top 10. Further down the order, we have Lando Norris, Esteban Ocon, Jack Doohan, Valtteri Bottas, Kevin Magnussen, Oscar Piastri, Yuki Tsunoda, Nico Hülkenberg, Zhou Guanyu, Logan Sargent, Teo Pourchaire, and Nick de Vries. And over to the constructors, it's a 62-point lead for Mercedes over their rivals Ferrari. Then a jump back to Red Bull and Razor Slothz, Aston Martin, Alpine, McLaren, Haas, Alfa Romeo, AlphaTauri, and finally it's Williams on 0. That's all for this race. We'll catch you next time.